I'm Sycamore Mitchell, and this is my gateway. So I'm going to start giving you guys a quick recap of my journey up to this point. So like everyone else, my journey has started with my amazing family. I literally wouldn't be here today without them, and they've been a great support system for me since I started, and I have some really cute pictures of us. Yeah, so that's me when I was like 3, on the right with my mom, and then this year on our college trip. Not much to explain. And let's just take a second to look at how cute Josie was. And still is, yeah. And then there's pretty much the whole family, all 4 parents, Lee and my grandma and uncle. Jackson, of course. Olivia's down there somewhere. So another huge part of my journey up to this point has been soccer. I started playing soccer when I was 4 years old. That's my first ever soccer picture on the left there. And then on the right is me after winning State Cup, which is a tournament in Southern California. It started with 64 teams, and my team won every game and advanced, and ended up getting to go to Colorado because of that, or to Denver to play in regionals. So soccer, it's just been a really big influence on me. It's given me huge opportunities to travel and meet new people, as well as keeping me healthy and motivated in other areas of my life. So my story would be incomplete without Oak Grove, or my journey would be incomplete without mentioning Oak Grove. I first came here in 8th grade, and after moving from Virginia to be with Jackson. So that's me pretty much right after we got here, me, Jackson, and Bryce. And so I left after 8th grade. I wanted to experience a bigger high school, so I went to the local public school. And it just didn't work out. I was hoping that the soccer program would be better, and I started, I don't know, it just didn't work out. We'll get back to that later. But then I went to a year of online school, and that was too much. It didn't work out either. So I came back last year for my junior year, and it was a great decision. I've matured so much here over the past 2 years, while still managing to stay just as goofy as the 8th graders in the picture on the left. So moving on to the arts, my first art is the art of engagement. So to me, the art of engagement is the ability to examine your own thoughts. Krishnamurti said, when the mind ceases giving continuity to thought, when it is an immobility which is not imposed, which does not have an acting cause, there is then a state freed from the background. To me, this means when you examine your own thoughts, rather than just reacting to them, you can make better informed decisions that aren't just reactions. So Oak Grove has really inspired me to do this. Everyone here is required to take mindfulness class at some points, and at first I just joked around, or I didn't take it seriously. I don't know exactly why. It was just an opportunity to goof off with my friends, not like I don't have enough of those. But then as I kept going, I realized that you can really get a lot from just sitting and breathing and examining your own thoughts without reacting. If you're like itches, just feel that. You don't have to react right away. And that really helped inspire me. Another thing has been reflections. In all of our classes, we have written reflections almost weekly. And this has really helped me to examine what I was thinking when I was going through the assignment. Because it's easy to just leave it in the past, but I'm really glad. So another time where I was inspired to examine my own thinking was on my college trip this year with my mom. This was a really stressful time for me, even though it was an amazing trip. I was going to different colleges and meeting with the coaches and trying to play on their team. This is really intimidating, especially to come up to a college coach and just knock on their door and have to talk to them. So I was extremely stressed out. So I was so stressed that my mom one day sat me down and said, "You need to do something about this." And she told me about this, or she downloaded this app on my phone called Headspace, which is this, which helps with basic meditation and just, it teaches you to examine your own thoughts and just breathe through it. And as I started doing it, did it a few days in a row, 4 days there in a row, and it really helped. I started, instead of just reacting and getting more and more stressed, I started seeing what was causing the stress, and then I could actually do something about it. So my next art is the art of communication. To me, this art is the ability to express yourself in a way that gets your ideas and needs across. This art is very important to being successful, as well as getting help. So my focus question for this is, how has Oak Grove inspired me to ask for help? This year, as many of you have pointed out to me numerous times, I was in geometry class with the freshmen. This was just due to my transcript was messed up when I got here and I didn't have a geometry credit. So I remember at the beginning of last semester, near the start of school, I was sitting in geometry class and we were learning about constructions, and we were supposed to draw a square. I just couldn't figure it out. I got pretty much every shape except for a square. But I wouldn't ask a question, I was too embarrassed. I thought, wow, this is so easy. I looked around and no one else seemed to be having many problems with it. So I just kept quiet. And I kept doing this for the first quarter, or for the first half of the semester. If a problem came up, I just wouldn't ask questions. And it started to reflect in my grade too, especially on the constructions quiz. I think I got, I don't know, something bad. So when conferences came up, I had my conference with Jennifer, and my mom brought up that I had been a little nervous, or I had been hesitant to ask questions. And she really gave me some good advice. She said, "Don't be scared to ask for help. It's just as new to you as it is to them." Since then, anytime I have a question in class, I just raise my hand and ask, and it's been so much more useful. I haven't been ridiculed for it for the most part. And it's really helped me to actually understand the content. Now I'm comfortable asking for help, and I no longer have to take on difficulties myself. So my next art is art of aesthetics, which I finally managed to spell right. On my first draft, it was spelled 3 different ways. So to me, the art of aesthetics is the ability to see beauty in purity. This means appreciating the beauty in things that are truly good. This could be song lyrics, artistic works, or most importantly to me, nature. So when we were in Zion on the junior trip last year, we hiked Angel's Landing. There's me, Bryce, and Sydney. So they told us it was going to be a hard hike, but we had no idea what was in store. We got to the bottom of the hill, or to the peak, and we realized just how tall it was going to be, but I was still optimistic. We started walking up, and it was probably about 45 minutes of just straight switchbacks. And we finally got to a place to sit down. I thought we were almost there. But then I turned around and saw that there was about 1,000 more switchbacks going straight up right in front of us. So I sat down and I was pretty exhausted. I didn't think I could do it. But then I looked around. I just took in the view and really noticed where we were. It was so beautiful. I looked down at the Virgin River way below us, winding through the canyon, and I was just really inspired by the beauty. This gave me the energy to climb the switchbacks, and I even almost kept up with Sydney. So the view from the top here really has inspired me to this day, and it's really stuck with me. one place that's really inspired me is my artwork. I do some graphic design, and nature is a really big influence on that. In this, I was trying to contrast the beauty of nature with the drabness and insignificance of the city below. Without trips like this that Oak Grove has helped me to go on, I wouldn't be nearly as inspired in my artwork. So my next art is the art of relationships. Forming relationships with my peers has been the most important part of my high school experience. And soccer has been a huge part of making these relationships. Knowing about the game and how to play has been a huge aid for me with a lot of people. With Peter, for example, when I first got here, I barely knew Peter, but we started talking about soccer. He knew all the teams, he knew a lot of the players, and we just really hit it off. Now, we're practically inseparable and go hot tubbing together regularly. So my question for this is, how has Oak Grove inspired me to form meaningful relationships? Before coming here, I spent a lonely sophomore year attending online school, as I mentioned before. During this time, I lacked meaningful relationships outside my family. And honestly, I was depressed. This is when I asked Jackson if I could come and practice with the team at Oak Grove. He said he'd talk to Bo, and he did, and Bo allowed me to come and practice. And I even got to play in a couple of games. Just preseason, of course. Bo would never break the rules. During this time, I started many relationships that really blossomed when I ended up coming here in junior year. The relationships I formed with all the guys on the team, I feel hold to this day, and it's just been a really great part of my experience here. So moving on to my Pathless project. So this year I've been working with this guy, Chuck Testa. You guys might have seen this video. He goes, no. He lives up the street from me, and I started doing some filming for him. He films taxidermy tips almost weekly, and I've been putting them together for him for about 6 months. He asked me if I wanted to do it, and I ended up just saying yes. And it's been a great experience and really gotten me interested in film and editing. So now I'm interested in pursuing a degree and a career in filming and editing, as well as entrepreneurship, which was already an interest for me. So the first part of my project, like I said, was working with Chuck Testa. This first picture here is, I've been doing social media work for him as well. So this first picture here was for his Facebook. The joke pretty much is, he's tiny and he has an Australian friend who's about 6'5". So I wanted to highlight that. Yeah. So now that I've been working with him for so long, I really feel like we've started to have some success. Before I got there, he was putting out no content, and now here's 4 videos that I put together for him that all have over 1,000 views. So the next part of my project was making an advertisement for myself. I want to do filming and editing as a freelance project, working for myself. So big part of that is getting the word out about myself. So this is the ad I put together, and it didn't turn out like I wanted it to, but it was definitely a learning experience. And I'm going to end up posting it to try to get some more clients over the summer when I'm not so busy. So you guys want to play that for me?
Running a business is hard work. It leaves you very little time to keep up with your website, YouTube, and social media accounts. But don't stress, that's why I'm here. My name is Sycamore Mitchell, and I want to keep your business relevant in the ever-changing landscape that is the internet.
Over the past 6 months, I've been working with local legend and business owner Chuck Testa honing in on my filming and editing skills as well as my social media know-how.
Hey, Chuck Testa here. Some of you may know me from my viral internet video where I say, no. I'm just here, I'm going to put it in the word for Sycamore Mitchell. I met him, he lived down the street from me, and I had a guy helping me on my YouTube, filming my tips, helping me with my social media, whatnot, my website, and he went on to bigger and better things. And I was kind of sinking for a while. We started talking one day and I said, hey, you want to do this? And he said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And he started filming my tips and videos and helping me on my Facebook and all that. And he's been doing a great job. Every video gets better and better. We get a lot of response. And I'm really, really happy.
I can film and edit videos for your website or YouTube, as well as creating new or bringing a fresh look to your social media accounts. And this is only the beginning. I'm also a graphic designer, a writer, and can provide basic tech support. For a free consultation, call me at 314-541-2230. So the last part of my project was, working at Greater Goods, which is a local nonprofit. And this tied into the business side of things, as well as the social media. I'm going to be working with Greater Goods, especially coming up over the summer, to help them promote on Facebook, or to promote events on Facebook. And this will help me get a better idea of what it takes to get the word out about a business. And then there was me, I was just volunteering at Greater Goods. So moving on. So there's a selfie that I took at SBCC, which is definitely not photoshopped. So I chose going to SBCC because of its proximity, price, and I don't feel I'm quite ready for a four-year college. Not knowing my major is something I was really stressed out about, and going to SBCC will give me a great opportunity to really find out what I want to do. So soccer is going to continue to be a huge part of my life. Over the summer, I'll be working out with the SBCC soccer team in order to get on, or in hopes to get onto the team next season. They have a fantastic soccer program, and I think I will work well with the coach, John Sisterspins. Plus, the field's on the beach, so. And then continuing from my Pathless project, I'm still going to be, after graduating, I'll continue to work with Chuck Testa as well as a new client, Wendy Mahari, owning my skills and building a portfolio for my editing and videography. At school, I also want to pursue this, so I'm really considering a film major or a film associate in arts at SBCC. So final thoughts. As I mentioned before, good relationships are a top priority for me, and I can honestly say I have a great relationship with every person in my class. I know you all can achieve anything, and that we're going to help make the real world a better place. I'll never forget the beautiful places or the beautiful experiences we've had together. And yeah, this was on the junior trip in the Grand Canyon. So yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, Jennifer?
So I know you put a lot of time and energy into visiting a lot of colleges and learning about different programs. And I imagine that ultimately making your choice to not attend those schools that you were accepted to was probably not an easy decision. So could you just talk a little more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I went on a college trip, like I said, and I went to a bunch of different schools, and it all seems really exciting, you know, a big 4-year university and all that. But I ended up having to make the tough decisions, because I did get into a few of those universities. But I had to make the tough decision just to keep it simple for my first couple of years. I think a big school is easy to get lost in for some people, and I feel like I wouldn't really do that well there. So I think a community college will really get me ready for a bigger school. Yeah?
In the art of communication, you were saying that you learned how to ask questions. It kind of, I would put it being a little vulnerable in front of other people. Do you think that going from Oak Grove, which is a pretty small environment, to a larger environment, you'll be able to take that with you?
Yeah, that's definitely something I'll take with me. I've always been a little hesitant to ask for help. I like to pretend I was above it for some reason. Yeah, yeah. It's so it can be really, it's really hard to be vulnerable, especially in front of other people. But now I don't have a problem with it, and it helps so much just to ask sometimes, rather than trying to do things on your own. That it's definitely worth it. Yeah, Mary.
You mentioned that your decision to, after you went through 8th grade here, you wanted a bigger school. Can you speak a little bit about what your perspective on school size is?
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, when I wanted to go, to have more social options, I guess, and also because I thought the soccer team would be better. It wasn't. And yeah, so now I realize that a small school is really awesome. You form really close relationships with pretty much everyone. Whereas at a big school, everyone stays in segregated groups, like people, and in those groups, it's like cliques. And yeah, that was pretty depressing for me to see while there, people in their groups would act and dress the same and not really associate with anyone else. So it seemed like people were just limiting themselves. So even though there was more people, you didn't know as many people as well. So I think it's better to have meaningful relationships rather than more faces. Yeah, Ashton?
Something that emerged from our conversations was you said that something you've learned is having a positive attitude. And I really feel like I've noticed that about you, even I think in the last couple of years. Can you say a couple words about that?
Yeah, definitely. Again, when I was at public school, everybody seemed to think it was cool to have a negative attitude for some reason. And that seems to be a pretty common trend. But yeah, so especially this year, I've just decided that, or I've just really noticed, especially after playing soccer, that's where it really started. I was being positive, and kids just react much better to it. Well, not kids, you know, everyone reacts much better to it. So yeah, like I started noticing if I was positive at practice and positively enforced somebody, that they would really get better. And I started to notice that. So this year I tried to take that into all aspects of life, and yeah, I feel better, and the people around me feel better, and it's just a more exciting way to live. I don't. Getting stuck being negative forever is no fun. Yeah, growing.
Did your trip to India influence that?
Influence being positive? Definitely. Going to India really influenced me in that I saw how tough other people had it and how positive they were there. I mentioned this at India night, but we were walking in a really poor part of Chennai, and there was these people who had their houses like pretty much under a bridge, and they invited us in and with a smiling faces to come and have tea with them. So if they can be positive, I feel that we definitely should be with everything we have. Anybody else? Oh, great. Thanks again, guys.